Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster. www.landmarkselfstorage.com.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and thanks for watching each and every Thursday night. We do a live show, or at least most Thursday nights. Sometimes around the holidays we'll be going from 6:30 to 7:30, but for now it's 4 to 5, and then we repeat it all over again from 6:30 to 7:30. But anyway, our phone number, as always, is 978-534-1626, and talk about anything that's important to you. We have lots to catch up on today, and we are just busy, busy at City Hall, and lots going on. It is, I would have to say, comfortably, that this is our busiest year, and I thought we had some busy years. Bids for the police station. Bids for the police station are actually in, and now they've got to kind of work with our, the companies that we've hired to help us build the project, look through what those. It's complicated, but not. They've really made it easier. They've made it easier for all of us to. Understand it, but the process, it's complicated, but they've broken it down, so there's a fair system in place to make sure that you get a contractor that is, that does a good job, they're reputable, they have good references, so the process continues, although I should say the numbers look good, so we're happy about that. All right, let's, do we have a phone call? Yes, let's go automatically right over to Mr. Art from the Art Report was going to tell us how hard it's raining in North Leominster. I saw many rivers coming down West Street this afternoon.
My downspouts, you can't fit a glass of water in them. I just looked. It is coming down and going out and down the driveway. But you know what? The rain's going away. We got football tonight. And, I'd like to know if anyone saw summer, let me know where and when it was. I mean, all of a sudden, this is it. This the end of the tomatoes, corn on the cob, cucumbers, peaches, apples. I mean, come on. We do have the festivals downtown still to go. Shoreland Farms is still open, but it doesn't seem like we had a summer.
No, it was hot and humid.
Well, kind of, but I don't know. Maybe it's because of, I spent most of it on the golf course and on my lawnmower, but I'll tell you, it's crazy. And, for the shot that would make Facebook 1 million photos or whatever they call it when they show something stupid on Facebook, I'm walking off the green, I look over at my golf cart and I said, what the hell? 2 turkeys, one on the passenger side on next to it, one on the driver's side next to it.
Wow.
I said, well, I had my putter. I said, I'm going to go over. They'll run away.
Yeah.
Did they leave? No. I put the putter in the bag. They make a little noise. No. I want to get in. They won't let me in my cart. So I walked to the front. They start following me, so we're doing circles. I finally hopped in it and took off. I was overtaken, the big lugger gardener, by 2 12-pound to 18-pound tom turkeys.
They chased you out of town.
Where till Luke Connery gets a hold of that one.
Oh, I can't even imagine. That'll be something that'll be circulating for a long time.
In the Webster's dictionary, piece of work, there's his picture.
I will look it up when I leave here. Piece of work.
It's right in there. It's in there.
Wonderful.
Listen, I don't want to tell you.
No, that's okay. Good to hear from you. And you never let us know how you did at the casino.
Well, I'm going to back into it. It's in the extreme near future. We had to just delay it.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going.
All right. Okay.
Very, very soon.
Okay.
Now, I had a feeling, and when I get a feeling, it's nuts. I was telling the guys today, I go on the computer this afternoon rather, to check the lottery, and Mass Cash has 5 numbers for 100,000.
Right.
I had the 4.
Wow.
Maroon. Well, I'm going bird hunting, so we'll see what happens.
I only have a few. Good luck, as they say.
Yeah, and to anybody out there that's listening, no, I do not keep the money at home when I win anything.
Right. Good move.
Yes. And outside of that, good luck with the toss tonight.
Yes.
Looking forward to the game. It's just like a makeup for last year's
No,
Thanksgiving.
I don't think so. I think
No?
it's just the way the categories, the way the brackets went, and the divisions, and that's all I think. I didn't say anything about it, saying this is a makeup game, but heck, who knows?
Okay, buddy. Have a good one. Vote Mazzarella.
Over and out.
Too many, folks.
10-4.
Thank you.
All right. A little bit of rain out there tonight. It's okay. The football game goes on no matter what. Will LTV be out there tonight? I know you'll be out there. Was it live? Live? So tonight you can watch it on either Verizon. Will it be streaming? Wow. This is amazing. So if you can't make it, I will be out there for the coin toss with Fitchburg Mayor Di Natale. And I'm hoping that Art from the Art Report left me with a little bit of luck, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, so pretty cool, as they say. We're going to take a short break, and we've got a guest. He's the new health director for the city of Leominster. We're going to learn a little bit about him, and then we'll update you on everything that's happening in and around the city. We'll be right back.
You've got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story that's the glory of love. You've got to laugh a little, cry a little, and let the clouds roll by a little. That's the story that's the glory of love. As long as there's the two of us, we've got the world and its charms. And when the world is through with us, we've got each other's arms. You've got to win a little, lose a little, yes, and always have the blues a little. That's the story that's the glory of love. Very true words, right? I think so.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let's get started so we keep everybody on time. So today we're launching Safety Net, and Ralph is here as the representative, but I'll give you the quick... There you go. Thank you. Had to make a phone call. Is that the rain I hear on the tin roof? Sounds cool. We'll talk a little bit about our 9/11 exercises in remembrance, which will be this Saturday over at the Johnny Roll Park on Mechanic Street near Johnny Appleseed Lane. And hear that rain?
Oh, it's coming down pretty hard right now.
Oh, man. That is loud.
Yeah, it's a good thing we spent all that money on soundproofing, isn't it? Yeah.
Did you spend any money on soundproofing? Because if you did, I'd look for the
Yeah, we soundproof the walls really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I kind of like that sound.
Yeah,
Makes us
it just sounds like white noise in the background.
makes us sound industrial. You know what I mean? Makes us sound, you know, like we're in touch with the world.
Yeah, we sure are.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about the Remembrance Day that we're going to have. 2 o'clock over at Johnny Road Park. That's on Mechanic Street near Johnny Appleseed Lane, right near the overpass of Interstate 190. And we won't leave tonight without a little conversation about that. As we reflect, as it gets closer, everyone will reflect. I guess there's all kinds of TV shows and there's things on YouTube and Facebook and documentaries that people are doing that 20 years. And for some people, it's like 20 years have gone by. And for most, it's I knew exactly where I was. I knew exactly what I was doing. And I knew exactly how I felt. Anyway, Jeff Stevens is the new director of the Health Department and Board of Health.
How you doing, Mayor?
You brought the rain.
I did. I'm sorry
Cleans
about
everything.
that.
See?
Helps the grass grow, though.
Ties with the Health Department. Well, thank you. We interviewed, I forget how many people, but we were very fortunate. We had great applicants. We had a good pool of candidates that applied for the position. And we got down to 2 or 3, and we did the final interviews, and the committee chose you. And you started, what, 2 weeks ago?
Do
you have a full weekend yet? Yeah.
I think I'm on day 4, technically.
Yeah, day 4.
Day 4. So I do want to thank you and the Board of Health for selecting me. I do feel honored, and I know a lot of the people I was up against are very highly qualified people. So I felt very humbled to be chosen for the job.
We had good candidates, and I guess to be the person selected. And there are a lot of things that go along with being selected. I know when doing interviews in the past, people have called and said, you know, I thought I was really the best candidate. And I'm like, well, you were in some categories, but sometimes it's the fit. There are a lot of other things that go into a job interview that you're looking for, and it isn't always just about how many degrees did you stack up. Sometimes, right? But anyway, welcome to the team. And you live in Leominster?
I do. Been here for 21 years, I believe.
So you remember where you were on 9/11?
I remember exactly where I was that day.
People remember exactly. JFK, right? In the 60s, and they remember where exactly they were. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I was working for the city of Fitchburg at the time in the health department there. And I was got called in by IT and said, hey, you've got to come watch TV right now. And yeah, it was such an eerie feeling when you watched how everything unfolded when the
I didn't see any of it. Yeah. Somebody had come in and rolled in a TV set, and I was actually at the White House one day, and I'd gotten there, you know, at like 10 in the morning, and a guy had flown a single-engine Cessna into the White House, and immediately I thought somebody took one of these, you know, ultralights or a single-engine Cessna and drove it into the World Trade Center, and thought that was it. And I didn't have time to listen. I was in the middle of an appointment. I was leaving to go to Erdman Way, and then I started to sense, but still took a while before the information could come in that something is not right here. It's not a single engine. It's not somebody that just kind of lost it and drove a small plane. This is unthinkable.
It was incredible.
And you're watching going, what? Is this for real? And the world stopped, right? The world stopped. And we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I think everybody pretty much remembers. There's a song, and you might be too young for it, but it was Where Were You When the Lights Went Out? When we had the big blackout. Carl, do you remember that at all? Do you remember? Bradley
Yes,
would
I do
remember.
remember that
Ron
song.
remembered that? Yeah, so there was a big blackout. How long did that last? Because that I don't recall, but there's a song that, and the words are, Where were you when the lights went out? Because everybody
Maybe a little before
remembered
me.
exactly where they were when the lights went out, and they stayed out. How long do you think they were out?
At least 12 hours.
Where was it?
Probably a couple days, I think. Yeah.
See, now, everybody's a little sketchy on that. But people remembered where they were. You know, when Kennedy was assassinated, people remember that. There are things that people just remember that's like stuck. They're the jaw-dropping moments that are just embedded in people's, you know, they could tell you how they were feeling, who they were talking to, what was going on around them, what day of the week it was. I mean, just amazing what the brain will capture.
I can tell you what seat I sat in 6th grade when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded.
Well, that too, right? I mean, that was another moment where people were like stunned. And it takes a lot to as Americans, to sort of, and the other thing that's kind of eerie is school shootings. You know, when you get these, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we interrupt this broadcast to breaking news, and it's you know, shooting at a school, and you're like, what? You know, Sandy Hook, you know, those kinds of things, and you're like, what just happened? You cannot fathom, right? It takes a while to process that. So, Kyle, do you know how long the lights were out? Are you looking?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was like more than a day or two. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what Ron says. If anybody knows, 978-534-1626, or you can post it. Did I don't think I posted on Facebook here. Let's see if I can find us. And then if somebody's watching on Facebook, they might know. Let's see. Game of the week, you know, is Leominster Fitchburg game tonight.
Big game tonight.
Game of the week. Imagine that.
Game of the week, you know.
Hey.
It's Leominster Fitchburg game tonight.
Hey, we're not delayed that much, Carl.
Game of the week. Imagine that.
Did you know that?
Leominster Fitchburg game tonight.
No.
Hey, we're not delayed that much, Carl.
You can call in at 978-534-1626.
Hey, we're not delayed that much, Carl.
Yeah, we're not delayed by very much tonight. I don't know why, but let me just do the old share and post, right, guys, and then post.
I thought you already did that.
I must have come here and not done it. Luke Connery says that you want to know if Art was vaccinated because he thinks he's losing his mind, getting chased around the parking lot by turkeys. Is there any video? Can we call the Gardner golf course to find out if there's any video of Art getting chased around by 2 turkeys? Maybe we can find some.
We think the answer is 13 hours for the blackout.
Yeah.
I just got it on my phone.
And what do you say, Ron? 13?
13 hours.
13 hours.
30 million people were affected.
30 million people. You were too young for that.
Just slightly.
What year was that, Ron?
65, I believe.
65.
Yeah, I missed it by 7 years.
See, a lot was going on there. I mean, Kennedy, and there was just a lot going on. Carla, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dino.
Hey, Crystal, what's going on?
Not much. It's raining a lot.
What's going on out there? Because inside here, I don't know it sounds like there's a monsoon out there.
It's been like a hurricane again.
The problem is, today, earlier, it was nice, and it's just so busy, and so I parked my car downtown in one of the parking lots, and I said, you know what, I'll just come get it later. And I had another meeting. I was crisscrossing meetings, and I said, you know what, it's nice. I'll get some steps in, and I'll walk. Well, guess what? When I was heading here, I remembered. Guess what, Ron?
What?
I left my car. I never went to get it.
Uh-oh.
So guess, I'm soaked. You can't really tell, but I'm drenched. So
Oh, boy.
I had to hoof it back downtown. They'll teach me. And the streams coming down the side of the road were like this.
Wow.
Yeah, it's okay. It's rain.
So I was in middle school when that happened, 9/11.
You did? Where were you in school?
Chicopee.
In Chicopee?
Yeah, you and brother used to live in Chicopee.
Yeah, Chicopee.
The old Pollock town, right?
One time, I don't know if it still is
No, it's everyone else.
predominantly Polish out there or not.
I'll
But
talk to you soon, buddy.
over and out.
Goodbye.
All right, 978-534-1626. Where were you when the lights went out? 13 hours of that. Anyway, you worked in Westford.
I did. So
Worked in Fitchburg
Worked
first?
in Fitchburg. So I've been involved in public health for 21 years at this point.
Wow.
I graduated from Fitchburg High, ended up getting my degree from Fitchburg State. When I was looking for work, I ended up in a construction company doing land survey work. which was really interesting. I never thought that would play a part in public health, but I ended up doing survey jobs for a lot of septic systems and subdivisions. So I didn't know it, but I was already involved in public health right out of college.
Yeah, that's a direct connection.
So one day, I got a call from my dad, and he says, "Hey, there's a public health job open in the city of Fitchburg. Why don't you go apply for it?" And a guy named Jeff Jerzik interviewed me.
Yeah, I remember Jeff.
And had a good interview. Ultimately, I was not the first choice for the job. Somebody else was. And that first choice ended up not taking the job.
So I'll prove them. I'll prove them.
That was my break.
Oh, good for you.
That's where I got in, where I cut my teeth in public health. It was 15 years in the city of Fitchburg, where I did a great amount of housing, which is similar to what Leominster deals with, and rolled out a lot of the trash programs along with my colleague Steve Curry. And an opportunity came up in the town of Westford to be the director of environmental services. And I was hired by a woman named Sandy Collins, who was very well respected in the public health field.
Yes.
And I did 15 months of that directorship of that part of the department, and then Sandy retired, and which left the door open for me to apply for the director's job for the town of Westford.
Oh, that's neat.
So I applied for that. That board gave me the shot to do the job. I was the director for a little over 4 years. It was a very dynamic town. It was very active, and I enjoyed very much every minute of it. And then I found out about Leominster. And initially I had thought, well, you've got a pretty good setup. I wasn't really thinking about coming right then and there. And then I thought about it, and I had talked to some people in town, and I decided, you know what, I'll put an application in, I'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, here I am.
Here you are.
So it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah, I guess so. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Jeff, I would like to welcome you to Leominster.
Thank you very much.
This is Nancy Korsky. I live up on Debbie Drive here in the city. Just want to say a couple of things. You've got a good group in your office down there with Marco and Kathy to work with. I've had the pleasure of working with them over the years. And I do have a question for you, though. Given that we're kind of still in a pandemic stage, when they start handing out the booster shot, will Leominster be doing clinics like they did with the Mazzarella and Pfizer, you know what I mean, to get the boosters for people?
So when the booster shots become available, it is my intention that we do give booster shots and have it available for everybody in town that would like one. So once we get to that point, we're starting to organize that right now on probably going back to the same places people are familiar with and doing the same process. Right now, we're just currently waiting for the FDA and the CDC to make a decision whether booster shots are going to be offered, which they haven't really done yet. The only thing that has been offered so far is third shots, which is different than a booster for immunocompromised people. And I do
for
have
Pfizer, right?
For Pfizer, and I have that link on who's allowed to get those, or recommended to get those, if you will, already up on the COVID-19 page for the city of Leominster. So it'll give you a breakdown of the conditions that would get a third shot, and you can follow that guidance. And also, as always, I would strongly recommend people go to their doctor and contact their physician on whether they should have a third shot or not.
Right. So not everybody, it really is necessary for everybody, but there are those out there. And we were talking a little bit this morning about how, back in January and February, and even March, we were telling people, hey, get your vaccine, get vaccinated and get back to life. Well, here we are. It's now September, almost the middle of September next week. And now we're talking about booster shots and third shots, and the fact that people are wearing masks again, and that those two shots didn't do what they thought it would do. And now we've got another variant. And so now I think people are feeling as though is there any end? That, I think, is pretty prominent at this particular point.
There's no doubt.
Is this just going to keep going on? Will it be another variant? Will it be like the flu? You know, when they say, well, we're giving you the flu shot, and then you get the flu later, and they say, well, that wasn't the variant. That wasn't, we gave you the flu shot for the flu that we thought was the most prevalent and the one that was going to do, you know, the most damage. So that's the one we gave you, and like, well, I didn't get that shot, but I got the flu. Well, you didn't get the flu we gave you the vaccine for, right?
Right. And the interesting thing about COVID-19 is we really only have 2 years worth of data on what this is doing every single year. And the only pattern that I really see at this point is we get about a 6-week summer break from there being a lot of cases, and then it starts to ramp up again in August. A lot of it is tied to gatherings and where people go. It's pretty clear that given cases you saw down on the Cape and other clusters we've seen at sporting groups, that close contact with people is where a lot of people are getting it. And my recommendation to everybody is, as I'm looking at the data in town, if you're uncomfortable, use the public health interventions that we know work. Wash your hands, socially distance, and wear a mask. If those things we do know help people, and I recommend it for anybody that feels the need that they need to do those things.
In schools, I think they ought to have like mask break where they just replace the masks, because I feel like, and I've heard from parents, they're like, my kid comes home and this mask is nasty. You know, I someday maybe we'll do a swab test on it and see what's on it. But at first people had masks, and I don't think anybody said anything because there weren't enough masks to go around. But later on, as there were more and more masks, they were saying a mask should only be used for a day and then should be tossed away. And people were hanging on to these masks for sometimes a week, 3 and 4 days. Now, obviously, that's counterproductive.
Yeah, you want to wash them. There's no doubt.
Yeah, but people had those paper masks, and we were out trying to give them out, and they're like, no, I'm all set. I'm like, no, throw that thing away. We've got 50,000 of these things. Throw it away and get another one.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang up. I just wanted to
Thank you,
call to
Nancy.
welcome you.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah, bye.
We've got 57, almost 58,000 people were tested yesterday on Wednesday. 1,362 tested positive, and the 15 deaths in Massachusetts. One is too many. 301 new cases here in Worcester County. We're down 1 from Tuesday to Wednesday at 216. There are 4,000 hospital beds across the Commonwealth. 622 people are in hospitals across the state. That is definitely up. Intensive care hasn't gone quite that way yet, but 167 people in intensive care across the state. And as I said, 15 people have passed away. 1 is too many. It's weird on the deaths that we see. Some days there are 5, and the next day there's 20. And
yeah, there's no doubt.
I don't know whether it's just, you know, the reporting of it all. Let's do we have slides today, guys? Let me put on my
Yes, we do.
wet glasses. Let me just go to another slide. I want to tell you what day it is. It's National Care Bears Share Your Care Day. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, it's National Care Bears Share Your Care Day.
I won't forget that.
And then I think this is a Jewish, I believe, part of the holiday. Is it Gedalia fast? And maybe somebody knows what it is or can look it up. I had it with me this morning. International Sudoku Day, and National Wiener Schnitzel Day, and National Teddy Bear Day. What a sophisticated day today is, huh? And say all that 3 times quick, Carl, in one sentence. National Wiener Schnitzel Day, okay? There's a day for everything, as they say. But, yeah, we have a lot to learn. I mean, it's been 2 years. But I do remember those days when they first started off saying, well, shut everything down to 2 weeks, for 2 weeks.
I do believe we're going to probably have to find a way to live with this.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt about that.
Which means better ventilation, better wearing masks sometimes. I know come flu season, I'm really looking for these masks because there's just too many situations where you're around people and people don't. I bring marketing for part of the problem because people were told, all the advertisement and marketing is, you don't have to stay home if you're sick. just go to aisle 7 or 8, go to one of the drugstores, buy about $200 worth of stuff, take it all, and you can go to work. Right? I mean, that's what the marketing has shown us. But that doesn't, there's nothing that says it clears up the virus. It says it helps with the symptoms.
Right.
So people take it, and then they go to work, or they go to a public function, or they go to the Wang Center during the holidays, and sneezing and coughing, and the next thing you know, everybody that went is sick. So we've learned a lot, and hopefully those things will stick with us. But yeah, I think we're into it for a long haul.
Yeah, and I think it's important. You hit right on the head. I mean, if you're sick, don't be out. Stay home and make sure you're better. I mean, a lot of places have work protocols on staying home if you're sick. If you're unsure, get tested, find out, because we do know that it is deadly, and it does attack certain people in certain ways.
Sure does.
So
some people it's almost nothing, and other people get really sick from it.
Right.
And and I try to explain here, it's risk management. If you have pre-existing conditions, it's weighing it all out, right? I mean, it's deciding what happens if I do get it. What is my probability of getting really sick from this, versus, I'm young, I'm healthy, but you may pass that on to somebody else. You may get it. Maybe you don't get sick, but then you pass it on to somebody else. And I know there are so many people with so many thoughts and ideas about this, and so it is confusing. And a lot of it is frustration. And for different agencies, they've pushed out as much as they know, right? You can be honest with people and say, this is what we know today. But I don't remember anything that's gone on this long where they've had to say, update, let's like, well, this is where we are today. And then tomorrow say, well, that's where we were yesterday, but this is where we are today. And think that everybody's kind of following along and not just exhausted from the whole thing. But we've got to be careful, because we do know that once the weather changes, it doesn't like the heat. And once people are out, that's the best of scenarios. But once people go back inside, and once there are large groups of people,
that's where the trouble starts.
Last year, the common area were places like home, right? So you wear your mask all day, you wash your hands. What do you do when you're home? Off comes the mask. People come to visit. You figure that's a safe sanctuary. It's not.
The home was one of the greatest spreaders of all virus we saw last year.
Yeah.
The parties, the graduation parties, the Christmas, the family parties. Right. With my experience in where I was before, that's where we saw our clusters.
And of course people think, this is my safe zone. This is the last place. All day long I have to watch it out, right? I come home, this is my safe place. But it's not. This is where this is really where it spreads.
Yes.
And we saw last year, the numbers were staggering when they broke it down in terms of clusters.
No doubt. But we still recommend, if you haven't been vaccinated, we recommend you get vaccinated. A great number of the people that are passing away are unvaccinated people. Right. And so the vaccine is helping with the mortality rate.
And people, I'll tell you, if you think people were passionate or vocal, and I'm not saying this to you, I'm just saying this in general, about last year and pre-June, now it's even more passionate for the people that don't believe kids should wear masks, who don't believe, or they believe every kid should wear a mask, or everybody should be vaccinated, or nobody should be vaccinated, or only certain people. At this particular point, people are pretty fixed in their beliefs.
No doubt.
They are convinced of it. And so our job is to just put out the information the way we understand it, the way we've been given it, and that's what I say. It's risk management. There's a higher risk that you're going to crash if you don't have any snow tires in the middle of a snowstorm. The risk is, why do you need to go out? Well, I need bread. No, you don't necessarily need bread. Is it worth? I mean, that's what people have to balance. And as responsible Americans and citizens of our city, people have to make their own decision. There is no government agency saying you have to be vaccinated. There are a lot of things the government isn't saying and isn't getting into. So therefore, people have to be comfortable with their own decision. And we can only say, look around. Don't just get the one that supports your argument. Look around and get it all. And then, again, do your own risk assessment situation here. Not to mention, you could get it and then give it to somebody else. And maybe you're fine, right? You just got a little tickle in your throat. But somebody else gets it, right? Relative, and they get real sick from it.
Yeah, there's one actual kind of a joke with some of the public health nurses that no symptoms is a symptom, because you can spread very easily and not even know it.
Right.
So that's why we recommend still get tested, because getting tested will just show what you need to do.
Well, clearly 35,000, is that what I said? It was like, was it that much, Jeff? Yeah, it's like, no, 60,000 people were tested in one day. Over last weekend, it was into it was 127,000 people. So clearly people are getting tested for, you know, if you're having a procedure done, they want you tested. But for a lot of other reasons, like I went out this weekend and now it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday and I'm not feeling so good and I'm starting to get symptoms. So they're going off and get tested, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, just knowing doesn't hurt. I mean, at the end of the day, having to quarantine or isolate is just a minor pause in your life. And a great majority of the people have very mild symptoms.
Right.
But it's just the person you don't know that could have that adverse reaction. Those are the people we're protecting.
Well, thank you for coming on, Jeff. We'll see you a lot more. We'll get you on once in a while, update everybody's what's going on. I figured I'd get you on and make the introduction.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to working with you in the city.
Yes.
It's going to be fun.
Very exciting. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back here at Inside Leominster, 978-534-1626. And where were you when word came that a first plane, who more than likely flew right over here, right, came from Massachusetts? Both of these planes, I believe, came from Logan Airport, and the chaser planes came from Cape Cod. And you got to wonder sometimes. I bet now the situation is that these planes are constantly in the air, and they're probably swapping off. So so much time is spent in the air, and then somebody else.
Yep.
But at the time, they had some catch up to do from the time they were notified that these planes were off course and heading towards Washington, D.C. So we'll be right back, and we'll talk a little bit more about that at 978-534-1626.
What did you stop me for? I was just rolling, man. You're supposed to waddle like a duck. How can I waddle like a duck? Well, it's easy. Just walk like you always do. Now, come on, let's get with it again here. Both of us together. That's it.
Here's a dance you
Good.
should know.
I got the knack of it now. That's it.
The lights are down.
I got it now, Norton.
What are you doing?
Just brushing up on a little dancing, that's all. You wanted me to be a dancer, so I'm just brushing up.
Well, what is this crazy costume you're wearing?
This isn't a costume. This is what all of us cats wear. I got it. I'm hip, ready to go. I'm gone.
You're gone, all right. Ralph, is all of this because of what we talked about last night?
Yes, it is, and I'm taking you out tonight. I'm taking you dancing and roller skating.
Oh, Ralph, that's wonderful.
Now, hurry up and get dressed.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute, before you get dressed. Here.
What's
Put
that?
this on. My pen. Put it on, Norton. Let's go. Do it. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, come on. Isn't that the best, Carl? Huh? Is that not the best?
It is the best.
Huh?
Yep.
Just incredible. Just incredible. Jesus Sanchez of East Boston, a customer service representative for United Airlines. He was killed in the crash of United Airlines Flight 175 on September 11th in New York. He was 45 years old. He was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, and raised in Brooklyn, New York, before he relocated to Fitchburg, Mass. Known as JR to his family, friends, and co-workers, he worked at Continental Airlines for 10 years before joining United Airlines in 1998. And you might ask, well, what was he doing on United Airlines that day? But I'll follow up with the story a little later. He was a member of the Trinity Church in Lexington and did volunteer work while he was there. His hobbies included baking and decorating cakes for weddings and other special family occasions. Mr. Sanchez documented his travel to exotic places and the time he spent with his family and friends in an extensive collection of photographs. He was headed for another excursion with co-workers when the United flight was hijacked. And as you know, that the way air attendants work, as people that work, whether they're customer service, when they work for an airline, they will let you on as like a standby. So if it looks like you're going to be able to, if it looks like you're going to be, there's going to be an open seats, they'll let you on. So a lot of times they travel, pilots and staff will travel for free, and it's sort of a standby. But that's where he was going. He was going with co-workers, and they were going on a trip. And on United Flight 175 on September 11th. He leaves his father, Jesus Sanchez Rosado of Puerto Rico, a son, Mark, of East Boston, a daughter, Felicia, of Maryland, 5 brothers, Julio, Daniel, Jesus Manuel, Miguel, 5 sisters, Rosa Rosada, Marieta Sanabria, Amparo Lagares, Loredes, and Maria Sanchez, and a granddaughter. And he had a memorial service at St. Leo's, and he was buried in Evergreen Cemetery. And again, a victim of Flight 175, and that was flown into New York on September 11th. Real people from your neighborhood, from your church, people who you worked with. When this hit, and I realized that both planes had hit, and realizing how many people worked around there, how many people were in the building, how many people were part of the rescue attempt, I said at the outset that by time this was through, and then of course the war, everyone would know somebody that was impacted. Somehow, some way, either they worked in the buildings, they were killed, they were injured, they were a firefighter, police officer, emergency, they were somebody that served in the military, and this is a real situation. Jesus Sanchez, 45, and buried at Evergreen Cemetery. Thomas Pecorelli, he was only 12 years old when he got in, when the bug, just like here at Access Television, he was 12 years old when he got the bug to be a cameraman. And he was an apprentice person. He went to Fallbrook schools, and his family lived here in Leominster at one time. He went off to live, I believe, with his dad, but I'm not sure if it was his dad or his mom. But he went to schools in Newburyport. And he was also a historian for his class. And this is the guy that brought his camera around with him everywhere he went to document school events and anything that was happening in town. After he earned a degree in communications from the University of Massachusetts, Pecorelli followed his dream around the country, moving from New England to Florida to work at a local TV station in Fort Myers. He occasionally emerged from the behind the scenes, appearing in short comedic segments that highlighted his talent for impersonations. He also spent time at the station in Tucson, Arizona, before moving to Los Angeles to work for Fox News in 1996, where he spent the rest of his career. Pecorelli was behind the camera for Fox Sports News, studio programs, entertainment shows like Talk Soup on E! Entertainment Television, and occasionally worked high-profile events such as the Academy Awards, the red carpet arrivals. While living in Los Angeles, he met his wife, Kia. They met and married in October of 1999. In the summer of 2001, they learned that they were expecting their first child. On September 11th, 2001, Thomas Pecorelli boarded American Airlines Flight 11 at Logan International Airport in Boston, returning home from a trip where he attended a friend's wedding and visited his family and friends living in Massachusetts. In 2002, the New York chapter of the National Academy of Television and Arts Sciences recognized Thomas Pecorelli's contribution to the television industry with an honorable Emmy. The award was bestowed upon several other television industry professionals killed on 9/11, 6 of them: Gerald Coppola, Donald Joseph DeFranco, Stephen A. Jacobson, Robert Patterson, Zayas Rivera, and William Steckman were broadcast engineers for television companies who worked high atop the World Trade Center in the North Tower, tending to the sensitive transmission equipment of the tower's distinctive antenna. Also, Glenn Kerwin Petit was a New York City police officer assigned to the department's video production unit who responded to the records to record the agency's response to the attack. Thomas Pecorelli's family donated his award to the 9/11 Memorial Museum as a testament. So if you ever go visit there, you can find it there, to the testament to his passion for broadcasting. It is currently on display in the museum's Memorial Gallery, where visitors are also invited to explore the touchscreen tables to learn more about Thomas Pecorelli's life and career. Pecorelli's family also honors his love of broadcasting with an honorable annual scholarship awarded to the Newburyport High School students who share his talents for the arts. And again, if you're interested in donating photos or objects that reflect the life of a family member who died during September 11th, you can go to collections@911memorial.org or by calling 212-312-8800 extension 3. And 5 years ago this weekend, Thomas Pecorelli's family gathered with their family at barbecue at his sister Marie Gray's home in Leominster. There, the former Leominster and Newburyport native transplanted to California, played ball, cooked on the grill, caught up on news with the family and friends. He also shared the photo that he kept close, a sonogram of his unborn son. This weekend, family and friends will honor the life and tragic ending just a few days later on September 11th by doing just what they did, what his mom thinks he'd like them to do, and that's to have a barbecue. So on and on and on. Thomas began his elementary school in Leominster and finished high school in the town where he graduated from in Newburyport. Again, he was a cameraman for something he was very passionate about, and went on to do it. Really was his life dream, right? So how things can change. So many stories about people who were supposed to be on the plane but canceled, let somebody else go in their place. There are all of those stories that will go on forever. So anyway, 2 o'clock, Saturday afternoon, down at the Johnny Rowe Park, will be, we had a couple of different events. We decided to put them all together, and that will happen at the Johnny Roberge Park at the intersection of Mechanic Street and Johnny Appleseed Lane. And there's a barbecue for veterans later on, and there'll be some speakers and well, come, right? Please, all are invited, 2 o'clock in the afternoon down at the Johnny Rowe Park. See what else I can tell you that's important. The poor volunteers at Shoreland Farms, they've had to reschedule like 4 times. They have they have a little barbecue for their volunteers, and I would say probably tonight is another night that they're going to have to. Yes, Thomas's dad, Nate, still lives in Sterling. Spent years in the plastic industry. The flagpole at Washington Square is dedicated by some of his friends that were his dad's friends that were members of the Rotary. So when you go by there, think of him and his family. You just never know, huh? I mean, talk about fate and the fact there's so many stories of those who passed away. There were 2 firefighters, I believe, who were in the World Trade Center when the first plane hit. And then the second plane hit, and the first building came down, followed by the second. And, stories about that he tells. One of those firefighters tells about how they thought it was over, how there was a police officer in there that was able to help them and said, remember, if the story ever gets told and something ever happens, just remember a police officer trying to help a firefighter get free. And only 2 people who were in that section of the building survived. And it was actually some members of I think it were either retired or reserved Marines, and they crossed the line. They were told to stay back. They said no. They had a flashlight. They went in, and they actually found and made a rescue in there. So and I imagine it must have been so confusing when you see those videos of people running they just kept running. They didn't know what was going on and how many more buildings were affected by it. But I'm sure everybody that's watching today, boy, did that change our lives. Remember walking right onto a plane, no security, hardly anything, how things have changed, and all of the lives that were lost, Afghanistan, Iraq, lost in the World Trade Center, lost those people that ended up with lung or other health concerns, were part of the rescue teams that were out there, and the stories just go on and on. So at the same time, to reflect back and, did it make us a stronger country? Did it bring us together? Did we forget about things and then return back to our normal lives and not learn the lessons of things like this? But I do think that anybody who was old enough to understand it, it did change our lives in many ways. COVID changing lives in a different way, but all of these life experiences. But remember that there were people very close to you who lived in your communities, who served in the military, and didn't make it back like Johnny Rowe, and who were there to follow the instructions of the President of the United States and the Pentagon. Imagine if you've ever seen how big the Pentagon is, to see it. And when I was there right after 9/11, it was like literally just a speck of the Pentagon. It is so big, so huge. And again, I would assume that part of the plan was to hit, the White House. I mean, that would have been the big score of all scores. But anyway, to think that what we've seen in the last 20 years since that has happened as a country. So in your own way, there are a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things on TV, Facebook Live presentations. It really is a weekend of reflection, and I hope you're able to do that and think back, think where you were, think about how it's changed your life. Maybe as a result of this, you signed up to join the armed services. Maybe you got involved more in your community, your church, neighborhood group, whatever it might be. Maybe this is the turning point for you to say, I'm going to change the way I live. Maybe I'm not going to live in the city. Or maybe I'm going to live in the city, but I'm going to, I'm going to reach out and get more involved in the things that I do. But I haven't been to the World Trade Center. I watched it, that memorial get rebuilt, but I haven't been yet. I would love to go. And so all of that happening this week. Do we have pictures of the week? Let's do them. Let's end with that note. How's that? Tomorrow night is, look at that, a great day in the orchard last week. Boy, we had a great day at Sholin Farms. There we are with some friends over there at Sholin. We had a great presentation over there. Jim Bissett, Karen Valeri, and Mrs. Bissett. We had a great day up there, great weather and great presentation by the New England Apple Museum. And boy, I didn't know there were that many varieties of apples. Plenty of products in addition to apples, plenty of gifts and things that you can take with you. There's Joanne Donato, hard at work. Boy, they were organized up there. I was impressed. Volunteers did just a tremendous job. From the first time that you park to every minute of the operation, through the farm, through purchases, through polishing of apples, just amazing. There's our new sidewalks going in as part of the sidewalk program. This is part of the MassWorks grant. We're down at Mills and Hodge Street, but many other sections of the city will be getting new sidewalks. We had to put a call into the state because they were going to put all blacktop sidewalks in, and we let them know. I called District 3 and said, we haven't put a blacktop sidewalk in 30 years, and so please, that new Route 13 project that's up there, please don't put blacktop sidewalks. So temporarily they'll put blacktop, but later as a permanent issue, they will go ahead and put concrete with granite curbing. Here's a water replacement project again, same thing. About 1,000 feet down there. If you've been delayed or detoured, that's why. Again, more sidewalks as part of the MassWorks grant. Soil replacement. On Hodge Street, we did about 700 feet. Some of that soil lines were 17 feet deep. So a lot of work had to be done to get those. So we took them out, the old soil lines, and raised them so they weren't 17 feet. There's a retaining wall addition under the MassWorks grant, again, to fix up that area between the cemetery and the roadway. Saw manholes replaced on Hodge Street in conjunction with the sewer water work. 2 minutes left here inside Leominster. Filter replacement at No Town. And people asked, why are we still keeping the water ban in effect? It's because we had to lower, 80% of the drinking water comes from No Town. We had to lower the reservoir to be able to do the work there. So we are always working to bring our treatment plants, whether it's water or sewer, always working, always, always, always working to make sure that we're in compliance, and these places are like brand new. Nearing the end of the first phase of the upgrades at the wastewater treatment plant. There's the first phase. Happy 70th to the Chacconis. My old Lieutenant Ciccone from the police department. What a beautiful couple. Got a chance to get up there last week and give them their little proclamation, congratulating them on 70 beautiful years. Out on the rocks. I'll tell you, Friday before the holiday, 12 noon, this lady brings in, the place is packed. She's up there at the Twin City Mall, so stop by and see her. She runs, there's something for everybody. And we're down at Gecko. Never thought I'd be down at Gecko down there at, but they're down there at next to the dialysis center near Starbucks. So we did a big grand opening down there. So here you are. Okay, hey, see you tomorrow night at the, there we go, we got film again. See you tomorrow night at the Food Truck Festival. Can't wait. And 5 to 9 or until the food is gone. Hey, thanks for watching. Again, this weekend, reflect on a whole lot of things, right? How this has impacted you in your life and those that lost their lives. We're out of time here inside Leominster. I want to thank the whole crew for coming in. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Please show up. Good night.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by Landmark Self-Storage in Leominster. www.landmarkselfstorage.com